Hi guys, Lucky Letshabo here. Our 10th episode of Coach on a Couch. Can't believe it's been such a ride already. Dino and I are going to reflect a little bit on the last couple of 10 shows and see where we're at, where we're going, and what it is that we're doing. I just would like to start this show, though, on a really somber note. Our condolences go out to the King Edward family, who lost one of their learners over the weekend. And as someone who's an old boy of the school, and not only that, but working in the public boys' schools, it's never easy. And I just hope and pray that those in the King Edward family and those in the surrounds keep the young man and the King Edward community in their prayers. So sincere condolences to the King Edward family. It does then bring and raise the question of the importance of safeguarding, the importance of mental health in our schools. Hey, Dongs?
Well, Lucky, how's it? And congratulations on making it to 10 episodes. It's really something for us to be proud of. But yeah, this isn't something to be messed around with. I love the way it's being handled. It's very professional and it's sincere and it's real at the same time because we're not trying to hide anything. So with that being said, it's crucial for your peers to look out for each other as well, you know. It's very easy to see the quiet guy, the shy guy, or even the super loud guy on a day that he's not at his best and then to pick on him a little bit. You know, we were schoolboys, but nowadays it's brought to your attention a lot more. So, I mean, the boys also need to become accountable for their peers. And I would love to
just
see
to look
more
out
of
for
that.
each other. You know, I think you know, a lot of our schools we speak very much about camaraderie and brotherhood and things like that there. So we just need to be, you know, I call it being socially aware, you know,
Yes.
and just like you said, looking out for your peers,
It
because
would be
you never know what someone's going through.
exactly, and it would be so nice to build a culture, especially in today's age, that these kind of things can be spoken about, even just amongst each other, with this kind of brotherhood that's being built, sisterhood in the girls' schools. And to be honest, that there's a tremendous amount of pressure being placed on these kids these days, a lot more so because of the potential we see with sportsmen from such a young age. So,
Yeah, I mean, you know, we see how competitive the schooling environment is, not only just in sports, in the classroom, everywhere is competitive, you know. We have conversations in schools about when do learners switch off? Because everyone expects you to be at your best all the time. And this situation aside, we don't know too many details about what happened and would hate to speculate, but the school environment has become quite hectic. But, you know, I like what you were saying a little bit earlier about we are fortunate to see how some of our athletes in particular, you know, overcome challenges to be absolute superstars.
yeah, and you know what? It's always crucial to have role models, and role models that you can relate to. So, for example, Simone Biles, the American gymnast, who's been very vocal and open about her struggles, and then coming to the Olympics now again and winning medals, just proves that you can overcome things and still be great.
Yeah, and I really hope that, you know, people take that on in terms of how one can be successful in their own right, in their own little space, and that there are avenues, particularly in schools. I mean, schools are quite hectic these days, Dino, in terms of avenues to go to for learners to speak out, for learners to get the necessary support in terms of counseling, in terms of peer assistance. We've got psychologists, you know, available. But something that perhaps, you know, you and the broader community might not know about is this new thing called safeguarding. safeguarding has become an important part of schools, in particularly in sport. And I want to invite someone who knows a little bit more, because I can see your face there off camera, talk a little bit more about safeguarding. What is it? What role does it play, particularly in our schooling environments, in the sporting environment? Good evening, Mr. Duncan Woods. Absolute pleasure. Those that might not be aware, Mr. Duncan Woods, Jace, you'll know him from your water polo playing days, Dino. Not playing with him, but rather watching him. One of the stalwarts of South African water polo, still heavily involved in coaching, not just in the pool, but Duncan specializes and does a lot of work behind the scenes into coaching. And one thing that I want to talk about is this new word that we've gotten accustomed to, Duncan, safeguarding. What is safeguarding?
So thanks, Lux. So safeguarding, we've had to learn the hard way in the sport of water polo over the last 10 years. There's just been too many cases when athletes have not been kept safe. And I think, to go back to the definition, safeguarding is everyone within the sporting environment is kept safe. So that includes yourself, you as a referee, you as a coach, the athletes themselves. Everyone must be kept safe to play their sport. So safeguarding is really the formalized policy and procedure, as well as the attitudes and behaviors that we need to develop to make sure that everyone who plays our sport is kept safe. And we need to be proactive in enforcing, in maintaining, and making that the norm for our sport.
Sure. I like the fact that you say everyone involved in the sport, because very, very often we leave out certain parts of the sport. We always focus on either athletes and or players there, but from coaching to referees to technical officials that you speak of, it's important that, one, we're conscious of the environment that we're in and just ensuring that policy goes through. So in your trainings, Duncan, and in your experience, where's the difficulty when it comes into safeguarding? Because, like I said, it's still quite a new phenomena. And some schools and some sporting codes and in some clubs, there's a full buy-in and they're doing really well at that. And then at some, it's just, never heard of before.
So yeah, thanks. So I think you're right that in many cases we need to have special awareness around how do we protect vulnerable individuals. So if you have a situation where a child is being coached by an adult, or a child's being refereed by an adult, or a child's being in a team being managed by an adult, there's a power differential that exists, and we need to be observant of that. So definitely safeguarding has a definite emphasis on vulnerable individuals, mostly in this case children or young teenagers, people with disabilities, people who need extra assistance, etc. Those are what is considered vulnerable individuals, and we definitely need to be more proactive in those areas. But safeguarding involves everyone. Every stakeholder in the game, in the whole community is included in safeguarding. So if you ask me the question, who's doing better, safeguarding is across the board. We need to apply. Everyone needs to be bought in, is the simple fact of the matter. I think we've learned a lot. I think over the last 10 years, we've really come a long way. So if you ask me what my answer would be around safeguarding and how to keep everyone safe 10 or 15 years ago, the answer would have been very different. So for example, now we have situations where water polo, being a very tactile, practical sport where you need lots of physical contact, lots of technique around the physical aspects of the game. Back in the day, you would kind of just jump in and show the guys how to do it. And these days, I think appropriate for a coach to say, can I show you this maneuver, or do you mind if I have contact with you to show you how to grip in a certain way, etc. So there's that definite asking for permission is one of the steps which all coaches should be applying. There's also something we learned at the Tokyo Olympics in 2020 was that the rule of three applies. So whenever there's a situation, you're never one-on-one with a player, right? So if a coach wants to give specialist advice or special input to a certain player, they have what they call the rule of three, where you always have to be two adults in a room or two athletes in a room with a coach. So I think those are practical steps that we've gone forward. We're hopefully getting better at this. We're learning more ways that we can make sure that everywhere in the environments that we coach in or that we're operating in, that everyone is safe at all times.
Duncan, that's awesome. That just shows that the evolution of this is growing day by day. And when you talk about this physical contact, are you trying to keep guys that are in the same team away from being physical with each other? Or can you then say, John, can you demonstrate this with Lucky?
So yeah, that's a great question. So I think, in contact sports like water polo and rugby, you're never going to have players, not being able to scrum against each other in a session. So I think there's appropriate physical contact, appropriate, according to the sport, that we will always have athletes that need to be kind of scrimmaging against each other, scrumming against each other, doing kind of the physical aspects against each other. And I think athlete on athlete, that's appropriate if it's appropriate for the sport. I think whenever there's a power differential, so an adult coaching versus a young athlete, I think that's when appropriate contact really needs to be very carefully monitored. So yeah, in those instances, I think, largely common sense applies, but I think certainly as I said, we're learning to get better at this, and appropriate contact must be enforced. Probably biased towards non-contact between a coach and a player. But if it's necessary for the maneuver to be shown, then I think appropriate contact in a team context where, there's nothing behind closed doors, it's open in the team context, it's appropriate contact, and I would recommend permission is asked as well. So I think those are some of the basics that we're getting our head around now.
Okay, lovely. And I see this also opens a door for a new avenue of coaching, because not only are you now coaching physical and tactics, but you're also going to be coaching mental strength, mental awareness. Is this true?
And also just consent. I think, one thing that Duncan mentioned there a little bit earlier is the importance of consent.
Yes.
So Duncan made the example of asking a player, is it okay if I demonstrate this? Are you comfortable with X, Y, and Z?
Yes.
So it definitely does open up, or rather allows coaches to exercise a little bit more EQ in these surroundings, doesn't it, Duncan?
Yeah, I think definitely the psychology of coaching is definitely something that's becoming a lot more mainstream. And I think all coaches are being challenged to apply their mind and see the athlete as a complete whole, not just the physical unit who needs to get the job done on the field or in the water, but rather seeing them as a human and understanding the psychology of a change room and trying to understand what's going to be the way that I'm going to get the best out of the athlete in the team, rather than, coaching my way. I think in the old school kind of thinking, it was, this is my coaching style and I'm going to do it. And if you don't like it, then you can leave and you can go and find another place to play. So I think we definitely are seeing much more of this mainstream thing. There's lots of examples now from the Olympics where you see, athletes being managed very well in terms of their mental well-being and their mental preparation, and giving them the space they need to feel like they are in control of the process, and you're kind of collaborating with them rather than, I'm a coach, I'm telling you what to do. So I think that has definitely changed, and I think it's a great thing for sport to there be a much more to have less burnout and to have less athletes who are kind of psychologically kind of under huge stress because of the pressure of the sporting environment. I think seeing them as a holistic being and really working with them, the physical and the mental and the emotional, all part of the deal, and just trying to work together and collaborate to get the best out of the athletes. I think that's where coaching's heading, in my opinion.
Yeah. So you come across an athlete like Simone Biles. Now, as a coach, you kind of have to switch her mind frame to, I'm a victim of this, or I can use this as my fuel to reach my goals. I have something to now prove. And I love that we are convincing athletes to make this switch mentally. Now, as a coach, do you think the same coach should be coaching tactics and physical and endurance as well as mental, or should it be a separate division altogether?
That's another great question.
Jeez, you're really bringing them out tonight, Dino.
I don't think there's a one answer for this. I think in many cases, I've got a great friend who's a rugby coach, and he's extremely good at the EQ piece. So I think him as a head coach of a rugby franchise, he has, just in his personality and the way he approaches things, he does have the ability to do the technical and then the mental and the mindset stuff as well with coaches. But there's also other cases where the person who's helping with the mindset and the mental side of sport is kept separate. In that scenario, I think sometimes the two get separated, so it becomes almost like difficult to blend the two. You almost have your physical trainings with the team, and then you have a session with the mental coach on the side. It sometimes feels like those two things are different, but there's also cases where that works really, really well. We've got mental skills coaches appearing in a lot of the professional sports where they have a specific, they have mental drills to do every week alongside the physical stuff. So I think there's not one answer, but I certainly think every coach needs to be taking the mental side of the game and the emotional support that they need to provide for the athletes. That kind of these days is a non-negotiable, and that needs to be the way that coaches think. Any additional support on the mental side, I think, is great. I think it's going to certainly benefit if it's done in the right way. But yeah, it's nice to see, as I said, nice to see these things moving forward.
Lovely. I like the way you put that.
So you speak about modern coach, and it leads me to my next question for you, Duncan. In your experience and in your trainings, you get those coaches you mentioned a bit earlier that are set in their ways, that are very old school, for lack of another word. Are you finding a lot of resistance in terms of them applying the change? You get some coaches, players are just being soft, move out the way. Or are we starting to change that mindset? Because, in certain environments, there's either move with the times or ship out, type thing in terms of coaches and their approach to sport, their approach to developing young learners. And then there's still those environments that are set in their old ways. If you don't like it, get out the kitchen type thing. What's been your experience in the sessions that you are having with the various sporting outfits?
Yeah, so I think this is definitely a space that's evolving. I always reflect back on the Mikel Arteta clip where he's in the change room at the Arsenal and he's having a good old rant. But his message is one where there's a shared expectation. It's not his expectation. He's going at the guys and saying, listen, we're not going to drop standards. We're not going to go out there and be sloppy on the park and that kind of thing. So I think as soon as you have a shared understanding, I think that's where the old school and the new school can meet each other, is where let's agree on what we're doing here. Let's be very clear as a player and as a coach. Let's agree that we are talking the same language. We have the same expectations and we're having the same kind of level of commitment to each other to make it. As soon as you make those things a kind of shared process, then it becomes much easier to not have a fracture between the coach and the players, where you have this is what we agreed upon. This is not me and my show and my agenda. It's about us. It's about what we committed to. And I think that's why sometimes in early season, kind of really let's document it. Let's get a shared expectation of what we both want and need as a unit. And let's understand my role and let's understand your role. And if we can work and have those formal things in place, then the process typically works a lot better. Even if you're a really passionate old school style coach who likes to get animated and that, but if it's shared, and if we agreed upon it, then it's us. It's not about you. It's not about me.
In our schooling environments, Duncan, and again, safeguarding is still very, very new. A lot of schools, certainly the ones that I'm fortunate to know, we've got school counselors, we've got educational psychologists. Some schools are very fortunate enough to have mental coaches. Where does the safeguarding officer come in there in the perfect world where a schooling environment has got all those people? Or is it a thing that over and above those various structures, every teacher, every coach should be a safeguarding officer?
So that's another great question. So I think there's a code of conduct, right? And I think it's important at this point for me to, clearly state that I'm not an expert on safeguarding. I'm just a coach who's really passionate and interested about equipping other coaches to be more aware and more equipped. So there's a safeguarding policy, which the highest authority in the country is SASCOC, and then every federation. So for example, water polo will fall under the Swimming South Africa code of conduct and safeguarding policy and procedure. So that's the kind of document that needs to be followed. For your specific sport, for your specific federation, there will be a specific document which outlines all the guidelines. In that guideline, there's a designated safeguarding officer, a DSO, which will be positioned in all sporting entities. There should be one, there's mandated to be one in all sporting entities. So all the additional services at school, etc., are brilliant, are fantastic in terms of the emotional support piece and the student or athlete support piece. But there is policy and procedure where a designated safeguarding officer should be appointed, and they should be responsible, almost doing an audit for, is this environment that we are educating and running sports programs for kids, are the kids safe? Are the athletes safe in every situation? So looking at change rooms, looking at kind of blends of how coaches are paired with different age groups, male and female dynamics, etc. So making sure they've done a good audit on whether our program is safe, whether we feel that every aspect of our environment is there are safeguards in place to make sure that the athletes and the coaches and everyone is kept safe.
Duncan, so now you see one of your athletes and you point out that he's struggling. What is the next step?
So one of the things that we need to be really getting into the psyche is that everyone needs to be proactive with safeguarding. So, previously gone are the days when I see something happening and I think, well, I'm just going to kind of watch that going into the future, and I'm just going to take note of it and maybe see if that's happening. So I think a lot of incidences have been missed because there were signs and no one did anything about it. We've had examples of schools not reporting things which they knew about. So I think when I see someone struggling, I'm now mandated and I'm compelled to report, to engage. Let's understand. Let's talk to the athlete. What's troubling you? I notice that you are looking stressed or strained in a certain way. So getting really proactive on this is really, really important. And let's talk. Let's talk to the athlete. Let's talk to them, see what's going on, see how they need support, where we can help. If there's things that we might spot that we think might be less than ideal and not according to policy and procedure, let's be proactive about it. And I think if we're all proactive about it, these things, we will lift our standards. These things will become the norm, and we can make sure that every environment's safe, that every learner is safe, that every athlete is safe. And it's really safeguarding is a proactive exercise, and that really needs to be the key message.
Sure. Lastly, Duncan, I mean, this is one of those topics that really could go on forever here. But I just want to ask, for somebody that's listening right now, whether it's an organization, whether it's a parent, whether it's it's an athlete or someone that's in the club setup, where do they get more information? Can you advise on places to go? Where are these courses available to the best of your knowledge? Just a little bit more info so someone can do their own digging post.
So as I mentioned before, the ultimate authority is the Olympic body. So SASCOC will have their code of conduct and policy and procedure around safeguarding. Then every independent entity, organization, federation will have a safeguarding policy and procedure. So I would definitely use those as the Bible for your particular sport. Below that, there's also an independent organization called The Guardian, who are really fantastic, really wonderful set of resources, courses, and tools that schools can make access to, can have access to, clubs can have access to. Really great guidance on the real ways to practically apply safeguarding in your space. And then, I think we're doing a course for Schools Water Polo South Africa, which is going to be a guide to safeguarding, which will point towards those documents, which are the Bibles and which are the codes of conduct and the policies and procedures documents to be followed. But it's about everyone being informed. I think raising the awareness is the vital first step. Everyone being informed on how to see, how to respond, and how to make sure that every child and every athlete is kept safe is really important. So make sure that you are rather informed, more informed than less informed. This is not an area where we can afford any slip-ups or anything to go unnoticed or unreported. So,
Sure. Amazing. Duncan, we still need to chat a little bit about water polo, but we'll leave that for another day. I really thank you for taking the time to just give us very briefly a very important topic and something that should be made a priority, certainly in our learning institutions and in our various sporting codes. So thank you for your time. We'll share some details for where you can reach Duncan, as well as, just to make you aware of some safeguarding measures that are out there already. But thank you, Duncan. Really do appreciate your time.
Good luck out there. Thanks for your time and thanks for inviting me to the show.
Jeez. Dongster?
Sure, Lucky.
Huh?
Very serious topic, and I'm glad we got an expert in to.
He said he's not an expert. He's just driving the cause here, which is good enough for us. He's driving the cause there. And, geez, it just shows you that, hey, I know we speak about all the time, but from our sporting times where, hey, man, the pastoral guy was basically the head of discipline. You know, there was no talking about things. There was the, hey, you sit there and do no more talking type thing.
Yeah.
And it's just transformed now. But, the safety and learners feeling safe is crucial, absolutely crucial. So, Dongster, tell me, how was your weekend? On a lighter note, let's move on to a lighter note.
Luckster.
Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, 10th episode, I mean, I couldn't be happier. We really are moving in a direction that I'm excited for.
Yeah, man.
But
Okay.
something that excites me even more, and I have to tell the whole world,
Oh, here we go.
I
Yes.
shot 80 on Friday.
80.
80. So
One round.
one round, I mean,
Not keeping score from last time.
that's 8 over. So after 4 days, I should be getting close to 50 over. So
Oh, man. So, can I tell you about my golfing experience?
do.
Now, listen to this. My school goes down on exchange to Durban High School. Okay. And the head of golf is unable to make it. The deputy head of golf is unable to make it. Yeah, I get a call from the sports director.
wow, they were digging.
But I get a call up on debut. They're like, hey, Luxter, listen, can you help us out? And whom's them IT shy away from a challenge. So there I'm on the bus down to the city of eThekwini. We arrived there. And then a couple of things I learned about golf. One, yeah, no wonder business deals are made on a golf course. You're there for 6 hours. What else are you going to do but agree to the person that says whatever? And then secondly, you rock up there, the guys practice, they tee off, and then they just disappear. They do their own thing. So I kind of just sat there. And then the guys came back 6 hours later, and it was, well done, we won. And I was like, okay, how much did you shoot? And the Oaks are talking numbers. I'm just like, yeah. I shook hands there. So on debut, as head of golf for 24 hours, W against Durban High School.
Oh, well, beautiful, Lucky. I know you probably went 7 under, but that's not in shots, eh?
Well, depends which shots you're talking about.
Now that we're on this topic of golf, I'm just too excited to bring up what happened in the Olympics this weekend.
Hey!
I wish I was a betting man.
Gee whiskers.
Scotty Scheffler on the 9th hole was betting odds were 6,000 to 1. He then proceeded to go 7 birdies in 9 holes and 10 birdies for the round to win the Olympic gold medal from absolutely nowhere.
No way.
John Rahm was so far ahead that it was who was going to come second. And he messed that up. And Scotty, I mean, like, yeah, do I have to say more? 10 under
6,000 to 1. My
for the
goodness.
gold medal. Tommy Fleetwood put on an amazing performance. He needed to birdie the last. He had a shot that was next to the green and had to chip it in.
Oops.
And if I tell you how close it was to go to a playoff, it was ridiculous. But Tommy Fleetwood getting second, Hideki Matsuyama with third. And I mean, just a beautiful display of my favorite sport.
And then Rory. But apparently that guy needs a water polo costume.
Listen, Rory's my boy. So when the guys in the backyard telling me that he's done, I don't know how to handle that. But
Okay.
hopefully it's not done. You know, when you get to the top like that, it's the tiniest things that separate the guys. I mean, he was still a competitor right up until he hit his ball into the water on the 16th. But that is the nature of the beast.
Nature of the sport, huh? Gee whiskers. Yay. Talking about the nature of the sport. Yeah, last big weekend for ruggers in the country in terms of schoolboy wise. Probably the top of the clash was Stellenbosch coming to a standstill.
Yes, tell us about that. That must have been epic.
It's always epic. I mean, they do a whole week's thing. There's but you've never seen competitive cheerleading before in your life, but Stellenbosch has got it. They do the hockey on a certain day. They do the netball because the girls also get involved. It's just, Stellenbosch just comes to a standstill that day, and then, touch judge. I don't think it would have helped in the end result, but so the guy almost went out, touch judge, flag up, the player stopped, flag down, they score. Referee checks with the AR to see, hey, did you make a mistake? The AR says, no, I made a mistake. So I'm thinking, so he says, okay, so it wasn't out. No, try stands. So I'm thinking to myself, but flags were up. Do you not come back? Skamnyana attacking ball because referee error. I don't know, but what an electric atmosphere. And I mean,
And that was Paul Gym versus Paul Roos.
Paul Gym versus Paul Boys.
Paul Gym versus Paul Boys. I heard there's 25,000 spectators for that game.
If that. You couldn't get a seat there. It was just, omunye pesgo munye. It was just, wow. Hey, schoolboy rugby is alive there. Then the Maritzburg and Glenwood. Maritzburg getting their first double in quite a while against Glenwood there. DHS were very impressive against the spirited Jeppy side. They went down 24 points to 20. What else? Yeah, those are probably my two favorite games of the weekend. And then obviously the under 19-18 series starts soon. So all those players were chosen, remember, for the SA schools and SAA schools, they've got their competition down in the Western Cape as well. So and that starts in a couple of weeks' time, actually, middle towards end August. So that'll be there. Then the women's Premier Division.
Yes.
The ruggers there, the Blue Bulls Daisies, they're just smashing people left, right, center, up, down. So they won their semi-final. So too did Western Province. So they meet actually at Loftus on Saturday, 7:00 for the final of the women's Premier Rugby Division. And I've been on comms there for a couple of those games, and to see where the ladies are at. Probably Blue Bulls, your most professional outfit in terms of the support that they get. I'm talking about within the rugby union. They're really packing a punch there. So Western Province not too far behind. So it should be an interesting game on Saturday at Loftus, kickoff there, 7:00.
Lovely. Don't go too far away from rugby because I have quite a few things that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Let's get through Curry Cup.
Yeah.
Crazy weekend. I mean,
how many draws?
Cheetahs versus Bulls and Pumas versus Sharks ended in a draw. Cheetahs Bulls was 34 all and Puma Sharks was 44 all. I mean, what are the odds?
Jeez. So, Dino, you should have been a betting man over this past week. You wouldn't be sitting here right now. You'd be like that guy that they're looking for in Pretoria who needs to claim 100 million.
I don't know how much I would win off my 10 Rand bets, but hey.
Hey, it will be 6,000 times more than 10 Rand. But here you are.
And then the Lions took a W, so back into the winning column. That's against the Griquas.
Thank you, Lewis. Good day for from Z in Kimberley. He's back home this weekend.
Yes. And then I'm sure the Griffins was very happy to get off of that carpet that they've been playing on. And they played at Western Province. But, we know how that went.
We just keep moving right along.
Yeah, Western Province 39, Griquas 17.
Okay,
that's Curry Cup.
Yeah.
Then, a new one for me, Deaf Rugby.
Hey, that was happening at St. Stephen's. Remember, we had Lauren Terrace here. That was off for this weekend. It was a sevens. Really exciting. And then they move on to the 10s a little bit later this week. I think the 7th and 8th of August at St. Stephen's still. So they move into the 10s version.
Lovely, yes. And that is open to anybody who wants to go through and watch.
Have you found your superhero outfit yet? Remember the lady said we must...
Well, we're running out of time. Like, I see a little speedo on the table. Yeah, so maybe... And then to wrap up the rugby, Bokke versus Oz this weekend. The first fixture of the championship.
Come on.
And that's in Perth.
In Perth, yeah. So the referees were announced there. Nice to see Holly Davidson involved in that. She'll be running the touchline for both of those matches against Australia. But it'll be good to see the Boks back in action again. And talking about the Boks, Siam Tanda is coming back home, huh?
Oh, beautiful.
Siya Kolisi back home. So, no, unofficial, official, what, but hey.
I mean, it was on Twitter, so it should be official.
It's on Twitter, yeah. Come back home, we've missed you, we've missed you.
I wonder where he's going to slot in.
I think first prize would for him to go right back to the Sharks again, most likely. But he is he likes the Western Cape also. So we'll see. But I think he'll go back to
I'm also
Sharks.
very interested to see that starting lineup.
Yeah, that hasn't come out as yet, hey?
No. And I know that Malcolm Marx is also on tour.
I thought you said he stayed because he's got injury.
I also thought he was injured, but just remember, we're talking about Malcolm Marx.
The same guy that came back within a year from a broken leg. Okay. All right, well, we wish Springboks all the best for their tour of Australasia. Please don't come back with injuries and beware. But Australia's cooking now under that new coach there. Remember they went there to Wales and they just visio pa them.
No, it's going to be very fun. I'm all for it.
Olympics, but come let's chat Olympics.
Let's chat Olympics. Okay, straight away, 100 meter.
Oh, which one? The men or the women?
The men. Did everybody win?
Everyone's a winner there. If it was in primary school, everyone would be getting a participation certificate.
Let's actually have a look at that race.
An extraordinary
And they off.
atmosphere, an extraordinary lineup of men.
Nothing separating them.
Nothing.
Trying to find a way through. Hamilton can do it. Oh, so close.
How do you think the winners is?
Done it by a whisker.
That has to be the most... You just robbed me of a medal, Lucky.
I mean, I love the way you say they shouldn't feel bad for not getting plays, but bruh, that's 400,000 there, gone. Because the USA guys,
Yes.
they get $37,500. We get 400,000 for a first place setting, which I think is equivalent if you look at $37,000. So, Akani Simbine, unfortunate there. But having said that, all 8 athletes for the first time ever, all dipping under 10 seconds. And it's amazing to realize, apart from Simbine breaking the national record as well, the last person to finished at 991. Carl Lewis in 1980, Mang.
Yeah.
That was a winning time at
time.
that stage at the Olympic Games. And now that oak came last.
Came last.
I mean, just by whisker, but Oksalayo, you are last.
It's amazing. It's so competitive. It just shows you. I mean, the guy who won the Olympics last time, he did not even feature.
Didn't even feature there. But it also makes you wonder because no one has yet to dip under 9.6. So Usain Bolt would have still been doing
Yeah,
this
that
one,
record is going to be there for a while.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
I
the
saw
record-
images of him online these days. People are making fun of his boop and what, but Oksalayo, he tokes when he
Whose
was
name pops up there when we're looking for
all
world
the
record?
time. And then what happened to Richardson? Everyone thought, she's in the mix there. She's going to win 100 meters in the women's. And then out of nowhere, this lady comes and does a Usain Bolt. Did you see the gap?
The gap was amazing.
Don't sweat.
I mean, they went into a little clip of what was happening back in her hometown.
Yeah, there was
after
like
the win.
a fan park.
A fan park.
Yeah.
And I think they were the only ones who believed in her, but...
Bro,
She did it.
I didn't know who this lady was, but I was there. First time for St. Lucia winning
Any form of medal.
A medal at the games. Absolutely fantastic. There were 2 countries there that for the first time they won. One was the Dominican Republic also.
Yes, triple jump.
For the triple jump. So it's always special to see those types of athletes. Tatiana broke our hearts. She's now retired to go be a normal person. Thank you for your service to your country, but bruh, come on, bruh, just give us another 4 years there because, come on.
Imagine the work and preparation that would take place in those 4 years. Like, he let the
Not
lady
just 4
rest a
years.
little
Since
bit.
she was a toddler, she was going to go extra swimming and what, you know.
I mean, you get to this age and you want to add another 4 years to the career.
Okay, my bad. We wish you well in your retirement, man. But one thing that was also very positive for me was Simbine in terms of he was interviewed after his loss there. And just, it's very difficult for someone to come away from a race like that with nothing.
Yes.
And then to give an interview like this here, just listen to the inspirational words that he gives off here.
I know a lot of South Africans were watching me. The Springboks won on the stadium, you know, and it's one of those things where I'm just like, dude, like, it's a moment of history, you know. There's no South African that has ever been in 3 Olympic finals and placed higher than me. I'm the one that's doing this thing for the first time for every South African, you know. And that's a great thing in its own, you know. I might not be getting the medals and stuff, but what I'm doing is I'm changing how sprinting is seen in South Africa, and I'm motivating a lot of kids, and that is really great, because maybe one day I can inspire some kid and then he'll feel like, okay, if I could do it, I can do it, and even try to do it better than him. We're not done yet. We're coming back in the relay. We've got 3 good guys that were in the semis. I was in the final. Painting just ran a really great time. Partu's also running in shape, you know. So we got another shot in the relay, and we're going to go for it.
That's it. And that's South African spirit.
Oh, I love that. It's selfless.
We just keep coming.
It's selfless. He's more worried about paving a route for the next gen than a medal at this point.
I hope you feel inspired. Dongs, on your bike, you know, get on there.
Oh, lucky. So, I have my funny moment of the Olympics. And it should be illegal to do pole vaults with 2 poles, right? But I guess it came back to bite. We'll show you a little bit more of what I'm talking about now. This is Anthony Amarati from France. He failed in the pole vault in the men's decathlon. And I mean, it is what it is. Okay, funny moment. Let's move on.
Oh, man.
Talking about moments,
Yeah.
a great moment.
Yeah. Sorry.
Lucky, just have a look at He was over. You
4
know,
years gone. Just because your honorable member did not stay down.
oh no. Imagine when he's in the bar after the Olympics and they're like, so what happened in the pole vault?
No, man. Oh.
Listen, I don't think he's going to be losing after this. So,
Yeah, he'll certainly be winning in other departments. But, you know, that was one. There was the other one as well of the cyclists. The speed camera going off because of how fast the guys were coming around the corner. You just see the flash. And you wonder, is that a camera? Is that what is it? Then you see the speed camera. So there was that. My other moment, I'll find it for you. My other moment was, there was this, you know, there's that meme about how useless do you feel as a lifeguard at the Olympic Games in this aquatic pool. So there was a cap. Some swimmer had left their cap, had fallen to the bottom of the pool. The chief of referees stops everything, calls his poor lifeguard who's sitting there.
he
minding his
never
own
thought he was
business.
getting in the pool, eh?
He has to walk, and I mean, the camera's on him. The whole crowd is cheering this oak on slow cap.
Oh, wow.
And they point, there's this oak on the podium, into the water he goes, retrieves the cap,
wow.
and then hops out. So, I've never seen a lifeguard working at the Olympics before, but there he was on this occasion.
Yes,
You've got some other clips, huh?
Talk about having an Olympic moment. Yes, I do, Lucky. And,
I wonder if that oak can claim that he's been competed at the Olympics.
I mean, they cheered for him and he
participated.
He can call it a heat if he wants.
Yeah, his own heat.
But a moment of greatness.
Yeah.
Novak Djokovic
Oh.
versus Alcaraz. And I told you, he is a man amongst men. He's humble.
What a guy. Did you see how much it meant to him? You could swear he was a teenager winning his first Grand Slam.
Lucky he was on the floor crying.
Went to hug his
celebrating with
family.
kids.
Oh, you know, and it almost, I mean, I have no idea what it feels like to win the Olympic Games. But it almost felt like everything now has come together. He truly has achieved everything he's wanted to. And it was almost there. I wouldn't say he's retired, but you could almost feel it's the curtain closed now. It was the grand ta-da.
Yes, and to beat Alcaraz, who he had lost to just a few weeks before,
Who's in the form of his life.
it was amazing. Anyways, with him doing that, he's now completed the Grand Slam.
The Golden Slam.
This is why it meant so much to him as well.
Okay.
The Golden Slam. He's the 5th person to ever do it. It's the Australian Open, the French Open, the Wimbledon, the US Open, and now
Olympics.
Olympic gold medal.
He's done.
He's done. What more is there to do?
He's done now. I didn't do too badly in the doubles also because Alcaraz played in the doubles, him and Nadal there. So, any other, hey, you know we see sports these days and we see the different sports on hand. But did you know there's rock climbing? We have a South African lady who was doing rock climbing. Like one toe. Oh.
Like it's ridiculous. I watched horses dancing, equestrian
Lord,
dressage.
please, in my next life, can I come back as Snoop Dogg, who's the mascot / ambassador for the USA team? My boy and Martha Stewart are living their best lives. He's everywhere. Did you see me in his dressage kit?
Do you see how good he looked, man?
I mean, there he is. Him and Martha Stewart, they're just pumping it out. I mean, it's like, you can see
And he walks in there, still got his pump walk.
Yeah, he's still got
he
the-
hasn't
he's still
lost
got
the
the
pump walk.
swagger.
Even dressed in his horse riding kit, he's still swag.
I mean, at the polo pool, he was there, at the flag. I mean, at the, what do you call it? The torch ceremony. I still want to know how many doobies he lit with that
I
thing.
mean, it's
because
the
I'm
perfect
sure,
guy to let carry the torch, eh?
Yeah.
He's not going to let that torch go too far out
No,
of sight.
I won't let that
he
go too
needs
far.
it.
But he's just living his best life there. Coming back to the pool, the water polo oaks.
Wow. The water polo in general has been next level. And it's so
Australia?
cool that it's happening right now just before the schools go into
Yes.
water polo season as well.
Because the pre-season at the moment now. But
But
Australia
upset City.
coming over Hungary, then Japan coming back over Australia and beating them. Greece is doing
Greece
amazingly.
beating Italy.
The
So that
goalkeeper.
would be Greece Japan final now.
No, that was quarterfinals. No, where we had quarterfinals.
I think that was the semi-finals. We'll get the guys in the back to pull that up for us.
I'll check. But the upsets that we are seeing, my goodness.
The women. I mean, let's just talk about the level of women water polo. It
Amazing.
is
Incredible.
amazing.
Incredible.
The structure that they play is
And the pace of the game. It's not foul. The rate is just... even in slow-mo, that ball is moving faster than I could ever throw a ball.
yes, and that Australian-Hungary women's game was amazing. It went 9-7. Australia were leading, then it became 9-all. Then there was a kick out in the last 30 seconds. Australia were man up and they never scored. Goes to shootouts.
Because,
It goes directly to shootout. There's no extra time.
yes, back in your day, things have changed a bit. So every game needs a result.
Yes.
So it can't end in a draw. So we go immediately
Yes, and
to
just
penalty
before the
shootouts.
final starts, I want to ask you a little something on the rules because I know you are a water polo referee as well.
Okay, just put me on the spot. Why don't you? Yeah, I'm listening.
What is the new 2-meter rule?
In terms of the corner throw.
It looks like you can pass into the 2.
Yes. Jeez, do you know when was the last time you played water polo, my man?
You don't want to know.
Okay. So, with your corner throw, one, from a 2-meter, I can shoot directly at goal if I want to.
Okay.
Or I can play myself
Yes.
and still go shoot without having to pass the ball.
Okay.
So that's to avoid. Remember when there's a 2-meter, Dino would normally go drop on the center forward.
Yes, I would
So
just
now
leave
they're
that
saying,
guy
hey,
out there.
that's a threat.
Okay.
Secondly, they've changed the 2-meter rule. So the 2-meter rule doesn't exist as you know it anymore. It just exists around the goal box.
Around the goal box.
So
Okay.
anywhere a foul can take place, anywhere around. That's why they've got the red tape next to the
Yes.
goals. So you almost draw
You
a
can't
box.
pass into the 2
Correct.
within that.
So the 2 meters only in front of the goal mouth. We'll have to do an extra lessons water polo session. I don't have time.
And just okay, so we still got some time.
Yeah,
before
plenty time.
semi-finals.
The women are into the quarterfinals.
Yes.
The men are finishing the group stages.
Okay, there I'm standing celebrating like it's a semi-final. Like,
Jeez, you know?
Canada, Spain,
Canada, Spain,
Netherlands, Italy,
Netherlands, Italy.
Australia, Greece,
Sure. Australia, Greece.
Hungary, United States.
Hungary.
Sure, that
Oh.
Place on
Tomorrow,
tomorrow.
yeah. Tomorrow, we'll get some of those. But
my best is when you see these guys get out the pool.
monsters.
They're absolute monsters, but they're not like muscular as in built as in
It's
got
belly
round
strength.
muscles.
It's that whole belly
yeah,
strength.
it's belly strength. And you just like, yeah, I would hate to come up against one. I think I would just rather drown.
No.
The lifeguard would be fetching more than the cap out the pool. I tell you what.
Check your boy here. Huh?
Ah, the swag.
Showcasing their iconic friendship.
Martha.
Riding a tunnel.
Oh, that's so
man.
cool, man. They really are having a great time.
I mean, we could have the same, except our new sports minister said, hey, no more free trips for Mama Joy and company. So now he went.
Mama Joy's getting married to a Frenchman.
Yeah, she's in France, actually. She said, I don't need your money. I'm going to go by myself. So she's there with Papa Joy. That is being known now.
Talking about cool guys at the Olympics, it's not only Snoop.
Who?
We had the Turkish
Hey!
pistol shooting
John
silver
Wick.
medalist who stole the Olympics, Yusuf Dikic from Turkey, who walked into the pistol shooting
Casually.
casually. He never had any eyewear, which is
Well,
fundamental.
apart from his prescription
His
glasses.
prescription glasses. He left his hand in his pocket. It
Just
looked like he was in his backyard shooting some cans off the wall.
I mean, the precision, the... You-
Composure.
Would you swear they just took a guy and said, hey, bruh,
And if you look carefully, you'll notice that he actually keeps both of his eyes
eyes open. Yes. Both of his eyes open was most unusual. Then you see the other people. Yeah, they've got dark vision glasses. They've got, a scope on this side. They got, look, check here.
Ear muffs.
Ear muffs. They've got, a whole thing. Here's my boy. Yeah, imagine how you feel that you've been training, you've got all this equipment, and here comes a guy just goes,
It's
"Oh,
the real John Wick.
John Wick, except he's got a cat apparently.
So he, in his post-interview,
Yeah.
he was going on about he's done this whole thing because his ex-wife told him he would never be anything. So now
Thank you to all the women that serve as motivators for guys to do better.
He then proceeded to ask his ex-wife if she could give his dog back. So you go all the way to win a medal, and when you get your few minutes of fame, you're asking for your dog back.
Jeez, imagine that
What a
ex-wife
guy,
now.
just a funny, cool guy,
What a guy. But it's nice to see those people come out the woodworks, huh? It goes back to your point to show that, you dedicate the time, you do the training, you make some sacrifices. Anyone can make it.
Yeah, lucky there's a woman who's 64 years old in the Olympics.
The table tennis player.
Yep, there's a 13-year-old skateboarder.
Yes.
There's a 16-year-old skateboarder who's at her second Olympics. When the commentator brought up those stats, my fiance is asking me what I've done with my sporting career.
Shot 80. Oh, man. Hey, but the Olympic Games, they've really brought something. I mean, they've been really, really exciting. It's been wonderful to see. We got the 400s coming up. The discus guys unfortunately didn't make it from us. So we've still got the 400, still 4x100 relay. The water polo is into the playoffs now, which is always exciting. So, and then we've got an 800-meter runner as well. I forget the lady's name. She's qualified.
Patricia.
Patricia. She's qualified as well for the 800. So hopefully we get a couple more podium finishes as the Olympic Games draws to an end.
I mean, we love watching all these different sports, but it just feels different when you see that South African in the lineup. Hey?
Yeah. Aye. We go mad here. So you can see the speedo that's on the table there. I mean, I'm not going to wear it, but we're just showing our support here. So hopefully, like I said, we get a couple more of the medals. Netball. Hey, I was at netball this weekend. I didn't quite make it to the basketball. Coach Manny said he must come check him out. Didn't make it there, unfortunately, but I was at the netball. Shout out to the Mighty Stars that invited me to come watch them play netball, and then both their games were forfeited. So I went there, I watched other people play, and then I came back. So, Jovial and the crew, please invite me when you got something going on properly. So I checked that out. I went to Maristella in Durban. They were celebrating their anniversary at school, water polo. 35 degrees in Durban.
Oh, wow.
Let's not go there. So water polo's in full swing there. Went to check that out. Like I said, I was on the golf course this week here. Pre-season water polo is happening all over Gauteng. We'll be busy with that. Some tournaments that are coming up. I want to talk to you about the PPL, the Polo Premier League that's coming up. Let's have a guest on there to come chat to us about that. It's a really exciting initiative. And then what else? What else we got on?
It's our 10th show, so I think it's only fitting that I bring up my favorite moment that we've had up until now.
Okay.
And of course, it's you. And it has to be the moment where Dane Groenewald brought his smelling salts that they smell before they lift their big weights, and you had a nice little whiff of that. So I just want to bring that up again for the people so we can all have a little giggle and just celebrate.
Can you see my eyes are watching already? Just that memory. Yay. No, man.
You told us you saw the Powerball numbers.
Listen, I spoke to I saw my ancestors live there.
Next thing he's lifting the table. Yeah.
I'm not sure also about this thing. I had to read. Yeah, it's just empty.
That's why it was so hilarious. I don't think you've ever seen this before.
My ancestors are speaking to me now.
Still unsure, Lucky.
Still unsure, but I woofed that thing, and my goodness, no.
Well, at least if you ever need to move the fridge or hitch the trailer, what you need to smell before lifting something heavy like that.
Yes. But I think for first 10 shows, Dongster, geez, we've learned a lot here from our various guests. I mean, I really like it when we do these sports that we don't know so much about. Whether it's a power lifting, deaf rugby. Who knew there was deaf rugby? I saw on Facebook the other day, we've got a SA polo cross team that's apparently pretty decent.
Yes.
They just had a championship now, so definitely keen to get it into that. The whole preseason, in-season conversation as well, amazing. The whole contractual world of professional sport was just something so new. And what I like about some of the guests that we've had on the show is just the wide variety of possible careers in the different sporting codes that don't necessarily mean you are the guy or girl on the field or in the arena playing.
Yes, and just because it's not on TV does not mean it's not a professional sport to somebody. And with that being said, I can't wait to show you our guest next week, Lucky. Something very different.
Different again.
Different again.
We like different, and we're going to be deliberate, particularly this Women's Month, to have as many female guests as possible. We're not just going to limit it to August, but we do appreciate all the feedback that we've gotten. Yeah, some of our guests are really enjoying the added perspective from our female guests. So we will definitely make a concerted attempt to get those on. So can't wait for next week, Dongster.
Yeah.
And then you exciting. This week, are you taking it easy on the golf course? What's going on?
This week, I think I'm going to take it easy this weekend on the golf. I'm going to just,
80.
I don't want to have to go and play again and then tell people what I really shoot. So
okay.
I'll let the 80 stick around for a while,
Well, if you need a winning coach, I might be around on Friday. So for those of you celebrating Women's Day, we wish all of you a splendid Women's Day, and to all the women that do celebrate an incredible Women's Month as well. And it goes without saying that we really do appreciate the role that women play in not only in society, but certainly in sport, where Dino and I would like to think that we are involved. So keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for all that you do. So, yeah, Dongsa, go to the Springboks on Saturday.
Ooh, we back on it.
Are we back on it? I'm ready.
2-week break. I don't know if that was for the boca or for the liver, but
It was for the opposition.
just for the opposition. Eh?
Yeah. We just need to tell them we're coming, give them enough time to prepare.
Yeah, let's pitch this to the people as well. We love having all these different sports and different athletes and different possibilities of roles in sports. Let us know if you've got a friend that you think would suit the show, would love to come on the show, or is doing something different and cool.
Certainly, there's a challenge for you guys. If you've got an interesting sport that either you're involved in or know somebody that's involved and you'd like to hear a little bit more or learn a little bit more about the sport, let us know who that is. Comment on our social media platforms, and let's see if we can get that person on the couch, because Dino and I, wealth here of questions. I was going to say wealth of knowledge, but wealth of questions ready to ask in terms of the various
Next thing,
guests.
we're going to have the South African Quidditch captain on our couch.
Hey, weirder things have happened. But folks, that's all from us for this week here. It was nice, Dino, just to catch up a little bit between you and I. That safeguarding topic, really, really important. Please make sure you do go and check it out. Have a great sporting week. Public holiday on Friday is dangerous, because, we're not going to be fresh. Because in Australia, they play early on Saturday morning.
Yes.
So some people will be pulling a 12-hour shift
You've
from
just got to
Friday.
pace yourself, because we've got 2 Saturdays this weekend. And a lot of Olympics to get through. So stay at home and watch the Olympics.
Yeah. Stay home. It's cold. So, those dating sites, they always seem to peak when the weather drops. Sometimes you wouldn't know that. It's only for us people that are on the streets. Folks, that's all for this week. From my couch
To yours.
We'll see you next week.
Episode 10, you baby!
Done and dusted.